Hello, this is Adam Rayner for Talk Audio TV. Now, I'm at the Las Vegas CES and the show is, well, it's finished. And I've come over to see some chums who kind of happen to be in town at the same time.
Coincidental.
We are in, I'm so thrilled actually, because this is one of those suites that you like to see in the movies. Minimum of $10,000 a night, or else a whale living 7 figures with the cash. Beautiful, beautiful penthouse. Meanwhile, of course, JL Audio, enormously important in car electronics, and you guys make the W7 woofer as your flagship product, which I have been on record as saying I think is the finest subwoofer transducer made in the history of mankind. Right?
Who am I to argue with you?
Stated. But what you're leaning on there is an entry-level domestic product.
That's right. It's our E-Sub, and we've been shipping it for a little while now, but it's finally coming over to the UK, so you guys get to enjoy what we put together here. Any of you guys that have ever seen a W7 will look at this and say, wow, that's radically different than a W7. But what you should know about this driver is it's second only to the W7 in terms of its ultimate excursion capability. The part that Adam just zoomed in on is the back part of the speaker, which is actually bolted to the actual enclosure to support the weight of the structure that you're seeing here. Another feature about it is if you look at the front edge of the speaker, the mounting baffle is actually part of the speaker itself. It's all built together as one single part.
Solid.
Yeah, so truly a very purpose-built driver specifically for the E-Sub. Some other great features about it, not only does it have incredible excursion, which you've got to expect from us at this point, but the way the amplifier is integrated in on the back side, it's a special Class D design amplifier, and on the top you see all of the controls, so when you go to set up the thing, you don't have to like lean underneath and get a flashlight to try to figure out what you're doing. Everything's neatly laid out right on the top. You have your polarity adjustment, your phase adjustment, your crossover frequency adjustment. Pretty much every control that you could possibly need is easily accessed right there on the top panel. And it's got kind of a neat, you won't be able to really see this on the video, but the cover here is magnetic. And it
you can see it.
Yeah, cool, excellent.
Yeah, you gripped it, took it out your fingers. Little neodymiums.
Yep, little teeny guys grabbing on there. And it might be hard with the lighting that we have right now, Adam, but if you look down here, we actually have a high-level input, which is a first for one of the JL Audio home products. Usually we just have the balanced or unbalanced inputs, but this one has the unbalanced inputs as well as the high-level inputs. So if you have like a smaller system, maybe a receiver that has some line output or speaker-level outputs, you can go directly into the E-Sub. And it's also got the line output if you had another amplifier to drive your main speakers. So we got the 10-inch version and the 12-inch version, and man, it's shocking how good these sound.
They rock.
It gives the Fathom a run for its money, but the Fathom still has an edge on some of the features that it has. So.
Well, that's cool. Steve, thank you so much. We're
pleasure to be with you.
Here to look mostly at the automotive, but I just got to have one more
look
at this transducer.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, what's not to love? You kind of got to have one of these in your living room. Yeah, so you're going to try it out for Home Cinema Choice magazine as soon as there's enough available to get one over to us.
Fantastic.
Meanwhile, let's go and have a look at the automotive stuff.
Let's go.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, right, we're now over in the automotive section of this awesome penthouse, and I will have to do you the most fabulous sort of sweep shot outside ones we have. We're looking at the XD amps. Now, regular viewers will know that in Deepest Pool with Mr. Chris Bennett, we had a look at XD, and well, Steve Turrisi has just explained that those XD V2s were the first V2s to be launched, although there wasn't a V1 version.
Never a V1, right.
The point is that the XD amplifier has evolved. The V2 versions, there were some ones that were launched first, but you've now got the rest, I take it, Steve.
Yeah, basically the entire XD lineup has now got the same feature set that Chris and Adam have already shown you in the other video, which is really kind of neat. So you got the difference on the turn-on circuit, the way we can turn it on with the two signals, the signal sensing, the DC offset, as well as the traditional turn-on. You guys also did a great job of covering the input voltage range, and if you wanted to focus in on here, the voltage range switch, the high and low level. So basically you can take any factory source unit and go directly into the amplifier using just RCAs on pintail wires, and you're good to go. And use that voltage range to accept anything up to an 8-volt input.
That's a lot of volts.
Yeah, a lot of volts. So pretty much anything you want to do, you can do. There's another change that we actually incorporate into all of them now is on the HDRLC that you can purchase separately with the amplifier. The range of motion on it was somewhat limited, if you ask me. You didn't really get any action, any love from the knob until you got towards the very end of the dial. So what we've done, we started on the original version to the 5-channel, the 8-channel, and the mono block. We've now taken it, and you've got from about 12 o'clock all the way to about 5:15 or so of really good motion on the knob to get a really good adjustment on either a system level or a sub level, which is what most people would do.
I guess that's because with a teeny weeny little motion, a tiny movement means more adjustment. So
yeah, exactly.
And I believe in pro audio I've seen knobs where they look like a clock. In order to get much more of that, like a 10 and a whole, so that's more towards better control of your stuff.
Exactly, a lot more precision in your adjustment. And to finish out the lineup here, again, Chris and Adam have already covered the 5-channel 1005, the 1001 monoblock, and the 808, the multi-channel amplifier. So now you'll see the XT301 go to a version 2, and the XT601 will also go to version 2, as well as the 2, 4, and 6-channel amplifier, and both of the other system amplifiers, the 503 and the 705. So finally, now it makes sense of why we called the 3 big ones version 2 when there was no version 1, because we were all along developing the other ones as version 2. So now we got it all done.
Which might sound confusing, but the main issue is XD amplifiers, a serious range, so you do not have to compromise with what would be the correct amount of power.
Exactly.
And still stay with the fabulousness of these remarkably compact amplifiers.
By far the most comprehensive line of amplifiers we have. Pretty much anything you need to do with this system you can do. If you need to integrate it into your car, nice and easy to do with any one of them.
I've got to tell you, Steve, did you know a very, very major Japanese electronics company, so important I cannot name them, bought one of your amps to beat up their amplifier design team and say, this is what you have to beat, guys.
Gotta love that. Hopefully they used the big one and hurt them with it.
Well, there's slightly cheeky note, we'll finish that one there and then go and look at some more stuff. Thanks ever so much, Steve.
No problem.
Right, now we have seen XD amps before, but this is a very precious little piece of kit. This little gem is an 8. Tell us about this speaker, sir.
What's interesting is a lot of people think it's a little gem, but we're actually calling it a big little speaker because it's an 8W1 V3, so it kind of helps complete the family of W1s. We have the 10 and 12 W1 V3 that we've been shipping for some time. But I think you guys are really going to enjoy what we put together with an 8W1 V3. It's an absolutely beautiful driver. If you take a look at the back here, you see the machining on the back plate and on the top plate. It's nice and compact. We're taking advantage of some of the elevated frame cooling patents that we've been using for a number of years now.
Right.
And what you may or may not know is that when Lucio Poni and his team of engineers put their focus on an 8-inch driver, there is nothing like it. It's a magical thing. They really, I don't know, it's a combination of things that they put together. Every one of our 8s has always done incredibly well in the marketplace because people just get it. They understand how good the product can sound. And the 8W1 V3 is no exception to that. What you guys will probably want to know is the box line recommendation. And you're looking at about a quarter of a cubic foot, put 100, 150 watts into the driver, it's going to get up and go, it's going to do the job for you. Never underestimate what a capable 8-inch driver can do. When it's done right, it's truly a magical thing.
Well, it does look like a really serious,
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Serious transducer. There is something about the quality of the torchness of an 8.
Yes.
Which slightly is there in 6x9s, but every time I open my mouth saying nice things about 6x9s,
There's like,
people
oh!
are like, no, you can't say that. But the bass off a good pair of ovals is tremendous. Having said that, better from an 8.
Oh, without a doubt, especially when you had the excursion that this driver can do.
And you can see how well engineered that is. I think that's going to be a cult product, sir.
I think so too, absolutely will be.
Thanks ever so much. So that is the 8W1 V3. Yep. Thanks very much, Steve. Okay, now we're going through the whole JL Audio penthouse suite here in a linear fashion because I'm kind of stupid and can't work it out any other way. So we have to go from place to place. So there with a fabulous blue shadow on his face, as Mr. Steve Turrisi stood by. Well, this is Marine kit. Now, we're an island nation. There's a couple of marine brands in the UK quietly creaming it and not telling anybody else. But they ain't you guys, so tell us a little bit about this marine stuff, Steve.
Well, the first thing you should probably know about the way we do our marine product is we test the hell out of it. And one of the things that we're really concerned about is UV environment.
Yes.
Because you're out in the sun all the time and the fading and the materials tend to get brittle if they're out there for too long.
And look rubbish within 2 years.
Exactly. So what we do with all of our marine product is we test them in our UV chamber for about 2,000 hours.
You look like you're being UV tested yourself.
Yeah, it's the same color light, actually. It's pretty fun. But yeah, we go through an enormous amount of testing to make sure that the product is going to hold up. It's always been our philosophy that a typical marine product that a retailer would put into a boat, they'd probably sell something cheap because they know it's just going to get damaged anyway, so they put the cheapest stuff in there so it doesn't hurt the owner when it actually fails. But the problem is, one, it's going to fail anyway, and you're going to buy another set of speakers, and at the end of the day, you're going to wind up spending more money buying new speakers every couple of months to replace the ones that have failed. And all the while, you're getting crappy sound because they're not good speakers in the first place. So since you're going to be spending the money anyway, why don't you spend it up front, buy something really good that's going to last and sound fantastic.
And spend it once.
spend it once and have it last several seasons, and you get better performance. I think you're going to be happier in the long run anyway. So that's kind of our mentality with a marine product. So that's what we put together.
So let's look at this thing behind you, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to show you this. It's kind of neat, and I'm concealing
something.
something. Yep. And what you get to see on the side here is we've got a nice logo. It's a neoprene sock to help protect the ETX V2 pods. So we're going to undress it here. Reach in here, and we're going to unveil another new product, which is our chrome grill on the MX770 coaxial speakers. Isn't that beautiful?
I'm just playing with the reflections because it's so gorgeous.
It's probably freaking out. The cameras don't like shooting.
And of course we've got the Las Vegas Strip in the background. I'm sorry, I know, we're talking about car audio, marine audio. I'm just so perplexed, and I just know that my viewers are going to be hating on me big time for being so awesome, but what a gorgeous piece of kit.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's hard to, hopefully you're getting good images of it, because
beautiful.
the finish on this is spectacular. And one of the concerns that we had was, again, going back to the UV finish.
Yes.
The chrome that you usually see in a marine environment, after one season, it becomes all faded and becomes brittle and flakes off. We can't have that. That's just not who we are.
Yes.
So the engineers actually did rigorous testing on the chrome plating. What we wound up with is 2 layers of copper and 6 layers of chrome to get the finish on there. So when a lot of people are touching this, it feels like a metal speaker. I guess because it kind of is. It has so much metal layered onto it.
Yes.
It's an incredible finish, and it's going to hold up for years to come.
Oh, wow.
It's great.
Thanks so much.
And there's another product hiding here. So before you drift off too far, this is our normal ETX V2 pod, but this clamp up here is a new clamp. A lot of our retailers have asked us for a swivel mount. So we now can mount it once and swivel it to any angle around.
This is for wakeboarding.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to listen to my music while we're on the way to go wakeboarding, and then when Junior is getting his face planted in the lake, he can have the music behind him. Cool.
It's an excellent point. We're going to come back to that with another product I'm going to show you in a few minutes.
All right.
So I wanted to show you the swivel mount, the chrome grill, as well as the neoprene sock. But now if you come over here is another new product.
They've been way down.
This is a monster of a speaker. This is the M880. So any people that know our marine line already, you need to know not only do we offer a more traditional 6.5-inch speaker, but we also offer some unusual 7.7-inch speaker.
Ooh.
The larger one, of course, is good because bigger is better, especially when you're out on the open water because it's noisy out there. The larger speaker gives you more output and therefore overcomes the noise level. So the engineers thought they'd have a little bit of fun and go one step further.
Yes.
So we had a 6.5 and a 7.7 and now the logical 8.8. So it's larger than a traditional 8-inch, but it's a coaxial speaker. And it also uses an oversized tweeter. Now what you need to know about this, Adam, is that when you are behind the boat doing the wakeboarding or whatever you're going to do, the sound has to project to behind the boat. It's not on near field listening. You're much further away from the product.
The throw must be acicular rather than hemispherical.
Very good. Thank you. You're dead on. If it can't throw to the back of the boat, 60, 80, 90 feet behind the boat, it's just no good to you.
Needle-shaped output.
You get the 880 on your boat. The larger diameter of the driver, the larger diameter of the tweeter allows it to throw even further. We did some testing in Florida, which is a good place to do the testing, and it's almost like the boat gets 30 feet closer to you by going from the 770 to the 880.
Does it make the wakeboarders do cooler stuff? Because they can
I think so. And another thing that we heard from a lot of the wakeboarders that are using our product is when you get outside of the wake, but when you're behind a boat, directly behind, it's one thing, but when you get outside the wake, the sound tends to drop off because you're now further off axis.
Yes.
So what we've done here, if you're looking close on the tweeter, we actually are flanging it out, and it changes its dispersion, and it's much wider, and the larger throw of the driver is also doing a much better job of projecting to either side of the wake, and you're gaining about 15 degrees more outside the wake with an 880 over the 770s.
So despite me giving all that about needle-shaped, it is actually very carefully controlled for purpose,
without a doubt.
specific to this one.
Exactly, right on the money.
Yep.
And in case you're wondering, in addition to offering just the coaxial version of it, we also have the pod version over here. So this is a new 8.8 ETX V2 pod. So it's a kind of a bigger brother to the one we showed you earlier with the chrome grill on it. So one other thing about this 8.8-inch speaker, it's a coaxial. Keep that in mind, it's a coaxial, but it has a frequency response capable down to 34 cycles.
Really?
From a coaxial speaker. Wow. It's got excursion that'll rival most subwoofers. It's 0.35 inches of excursion or something.
Truly full-range product where you need it.
You don't need a sub, but boy, you want one, because when you free up that driver, it just rocks. Absolutely. It's fun, and boating is about having fun. Wow. So when you get into something like this is what fun's all all about.
And talking of fun, I can hardly get over the background that this video is being made in. Do my
you've
best
been
to
now
try
looking
to
at
stop from
Rayner?
giggling, but well, we've just got to go and do a pan round and have a look at this this apartment, this penthouse. Steve, thank you so much. This has been absolutely gripping. It's do you know what? It's not often that you look at product and then come away with that slight sensation like I do when I'm looking at Lamborghini Murcielago and thinking, this is a lifestyle I would so love. Mr. Turrisi, you're an absolute gent. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Adam.
Okay, we did just kind of say goodbye on the marine stuff because I was like, oh, I want to look at the view. But you were saying though that you will want a subwoofer, and you have optimized that 8.8 for bass in this product.
Absolutely. This is our new M8 IB5. It's an infinite baffle 8.8-inch subwoofer for marine application. And we've already talked about the marine integrity that we built into every one of the products to withstand all kinds of harsh environments that you're going to put it in a boat. As you turn around on the back here, as you mentioned, Adam, this is a derivative of the coaxial version, but it's been optimized for sub-bass behavior. So this is actually more capable than what the coaxial is in the low-end response. So if you're dealing with a vessel that's not as large as a 10-inch woofer would really demand, the 8.8 is going to drop right in there and match up beautifully to any one of the coaxials. And it'd be really kind of cool to just have 8.8s all the way through. I don't know.
They'll all look the same. You say, those are my subs. I want the lifestyle that goes with these products so bad.
Without a doubt.
But there is another.
There is. And this one is massive. You're going to love this one. So I'll check this thing out over here. The code name on this was Brutus.
Brutus.
Yeah, Brutus, because it's, I mean, look at this thing. Look at this. I don't know if you can tell
the meanest, baddest, wickedest marine product I have ever seen.
I don't think there's anything that rivals it.
I don't think there is, no.
And you know, we have a 10-inch version of this.
Yes. Marine is always seen as a sort of little brother. That's over.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Yes.
It is a 12-inch. It's the M12 IB5.
Wow.
Infinite baffle 12-inch woofer. And there's a couple of neat things I'd like to share with you about it. First of all, look at the size of this thing in the back. I mean, that's just massive. And if you can get it kind of close in here where the voice coil would be, the neck of the speaker, that's a 4-inch diameter voice coil. That's about as big as the 13W7 voice coil. And it's on a marine subwoofer.
Holy stench.
Isn't that insane? It's just crazy.
It's such a sexy looking piece of engineering.
Yeah, one problem that we've been running into as we've been developing product over the past couple of years is as you get higher excursion, in order to put a grill in front of it, the grill starts sticking out really hard. It starts looking kind of weird. So the engineers have been working on ways around that, and this is the first one I want to show you in that regard. And what we've done is we kind of recessed the woofer back into the frame.
You can see she's away back in there.
Yeah, she's set back in there to allow for the excursion without the grill coming out and looking kind of funky.
Yes.
So we've done a really good job of like compressing everything in there. There is a drawback in this particular one is that it makes it deeper, but it was going to be deep anyway, so it really didn't matter.
You're going to need some cubic in there.
One word of caution, if you plan on using the M12 IB5 in your vessel, you want to make sure you're mounting it to a really good piece of fiberglass, because this thing is going to be massive, and the force of the boat...
I would suggest a 1-inch thick piece of timber bonded with good epoxy to the back of that fiberglass.
That would be a really good idea.
And then make an enclosure behind that too, but hey, let's face it, you can use the weight, ballast.
With every bit of good news, there's a tiny bit of bad news. The bad news is you're not going to have this for this season. You're going to have to wait until the end of the season. Lately here, you'll see this one come out, as well as a made-up amplifier for it. To drive a pair of these, you're going to be able to use an M1000/1. So a 1,000-watt marine amplifier, perfect to drive a pair of these subs. Oh wait, one more thing I almost forgot.
What's that? What's that?
To give you an idea, it's hard to see it on the video, so I thought of a way that I could tell you how big this thing really is.
Yes.
If you've seen any one of our marine 10-inch subwoofers, or any one of our 10-inch subwoofers, I got a great story for you. The engineers let us borrow the frame of the speaker to bring into the tech department, and as soon as one of my guys, this guy Jose that I work with, as soon as he saw it, he says, wait a minute, let me grab something. He went and he grabbed the 10-inch version, and since it didn't have the cone or anything in it, he took the 10-inch speaker and was able to put it completely inside of the frame of this speaker. The whole 10-inch speaker fits inside just the frame of this. This is one massive subwoofer. Wow. Hence the name Brutus. So Brutus will make its appearance late in 2014.
And Steve, your delight and enthusiasm for it
it's great.
warms my soul, so it really does. This is Adam Rayner and Steve Turrisi in what is one of the most glamorous locations I have pressed go on a video camera in my entire life. And we are going to have to go and do a pan round from this, so let's go and have a look at this awesome location.
Don't forget